am contracted to run security for this airline, and I am an special forces guy who, is called as sort of a crisis manager when this plane has gone down and that they can't locate it. So I come in and track the plane and when we realize that the plane has in fact, crash landed on an island, I have to send in a team of my sort of ex-special forces soldiers to go in and try and rescue whoever might be surviving from this plane crash. I was really pleasantly surprised. The script is really entertaining. It's, in some sense, it's a type of film that we're familiar with, which is very satisfying, but it's also really smart and full of surprises and kind of has you on the edge of your seat. I mean, I read it in one sitting, I couldn't put it down. After I directed my first film, my understanding of what my role was as an actor on a film completely transformed, because I realized there were so many parts of the filmmaking process that I didn't understand. At the same time, when I started directing and then after a while producing, my experience as an actor was just so incredibly helpful, to the whole process of storytelling. And I realized that I knew a lot of things that, directors and producers who don't come from an acting background just don't understand. So the jobs really complement each other. I've always been fascinated with, extra governmental security operations. Some people call them mercenaries, contract soldiers. I sort of realized, after the wars that we've been through in the Middle East, so many Americans were private contractors. There's some very, very successful companies that no one's ever heard of that do a lot of work for the US government, for the CIA, and, are able to operate, and for major corporations around the world. So I read a lot about that already. I'd been working on a project a few years ago that we were developing that involved that kind of an outfit. So when I was asked to play Scarsdale, I felt I'd already done a lot of reading, and I thought, I think I see where this guy, fits. I had an understanding of what his job and what his realm of expertise might be. So, I guess I probably went back and looked at some of the reference material that I already possessed, but it had been an area that I'd already explored, pretty thoroughly. Yeah, the design is hugely important. I mean, that creates the environment that we get to work in, and one of the really fun things about working on film is you have a three-dimensional environment most times. When you work on stage, there's two dimensions to it, and then there's the audience. So you have to kind of create the fourth wall for yourself, whereas in a movie that exists. This set was very imaginative and felt very realistic. It was also cool because we could react to something real in terms of the video footage that we would otherwise have been imagining of what, there's this video conferencing that we're doing with our operatives in the jungle. It was great because they were projecting those onto a screen for us so we could react in real time, which doesn't always happen. Often it's like a green screen and you just have to imagine it in post. But I think they created this set where it all felt very, very real. So that's always a gift. So many movies that we watch now, people watch at home, but this is a film that you want to see with other people. It's a big kind of thrilling entertainment, and there's lots of surprises and twists and turns, and there's just nothing to replace that communal experience of the sensory experience of watching it on a big screen and the communal experience of sharing this with X hundred other people. It's just with a tub of popcorn in your lap. I was familiar with the genre. of a plane that crashes in the jungle and the heroic captain who all seems lost. And so you feel like you know where it's going, but there was a sense of authenticity to it that made me, kept me on the edge of my seat, and it kept surprising me. Even though I sort of felt like I knew where it was probably going to go, it was constantly surprising me and done with real intelligence. So I'm excited for audiences to have that experience, because to me that always makes the best commercial movies, or ones that satisfy those appetites of why we want to go see an action movie, but honor our intelligence, where we don't feel talked down to, and challenge us and surprise us.